Today's lesson is going to be about square roots and cube roots. Here's our first problem. Alright, so what do you do if you have a problem that says what is the value of 100? What is the value of the square root of 196? Alright, well, if we want to figure this problem out, we want to first start by rewriting our problem. Square root of 196. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is get the factors of 196. I'm just going to break it down into two factors. And if I do this correctly, I should come up with the factors of 2 and a number, because I know that all even numbers are divisible by 2. Let's see what I get. 98. Okay. Alright. 98. So 2 times 98. Now, I could have chose any two other factors, but I just chose to do 2 and 98. Now what I'm going to proceed to do from here is break this. I can't break the 2 down, but I can break the 98 down into two other factors. So that's what I'm going to do now. 2 times, and I know that if I divide 98 by 2 again, that's going to give me 49. So I'm going to do 2 times 49. Okay. Now I want to continue to break down each number until I can't break it down anymore. This 2 came from here, and this 2 times 49 came from that 98. Now I'm going to break down this 49. So I keep my 2 2's. And I know 7 times 7 is 49, so that's what I'm going to write. Now I've gotten to a point where I can't break down these 2's, and I can't break down this 7. So from here, this is where we get to our point where we start to simplify our expression. Now, part of doing square root means 2. So what is going to happen is, for every 2 that I have alike, I'm going to circle them, and I'm going to pull out that number. I'm only going to write it once though. Okay, same thing for those 7. So let's see how that looks. I have these 2 2's here, so I want to go ahead and circle those 2, cross them out, and I'm going to write 2 times. Now I have to do my 7's. I have 2 7's. Get rid of those, and I show that by doing that. Now, because I have nothing left underneath the square root symbol, I don't have to write it down here as part of my answer. I just need to simplify 2 times 7, which simply equals 14. So that lets me know that the square root of 196 is simply 14. Okay. Alright, that's that problem. Let's see what's up next. Alright, next up we have what is the value of the cube root, and that is a cube root of 8 divided by 125. Alright, this one is going to be something similar to the last one. I'm going to first start off by rewriting my problem. Cube root 8 divided by 125. Okay. And once again, I'm just going to I can break this down into the cube root of 8 divided by the cube root of 125. Okay, so kind of like the last problem now, I'm going to break down I'm going to factor each one of these numbers completely until I can't factor anymore. And because this is cube root, I'm going to be circling 3 at a time now. So let's see how that looks. If I break 8 down, that's going to give me 4 times 2. And if I break down the cube root of 125, I'm going to get 5 times 25. Okay. Now, of course, on the top and on the bottom, I'm going to continue to simplify my radical. And what I'm going to do here is going to make these lines longer so we can definitely tell that there's a fraction here. Okay. So I'm going to come down, move my paper up some. Cube root Now instead of 4, I'm going to do 2 times 2. Keep that 2. All of that over. Now I'm going to rewrite this, and I know I can't break down to 5, but I can break down 25 into 5 times 5. Alright, so now on the top and on the bottom, I have the cube root of 2 times 2 times 2, and on the bottom I have the cube root of 5 times 5 times 5. Now, as I emphasized earlier, because this is cube root on the top and on the bottom, cube root means for every 3 numbers that we have alike, we're going to circle and pull out 1. So that's what I'm about to do now. Alright, so I have 3 2's on the top. I circle those and I pull out 1. And I don't have anything else, so I don't need to write cube root of any number. I just write 2 over. Now on the bottom, I have 3 5's here. So get those out the way. And because I don't have any more of those left, I'm just going to write simply 2 over 5. And I can't simplify this fraction anymore, so that's going to end up being my final answer here. So the cube root of 8 divided by 125 is simply 2 over 5. Alright, let's see what our next problem is. Okay, here we go. We got another problem here. Simplify the square root of 198. This seems easy enough. I mean, excuse me, not 198, but 98. Excuse me. So, once again, you want to start by rewriting your problem. Square root of 98. Find the factors of 98. Any two numbers will suffice. Let's see here. I'm gonna let's see. 98 divided by, let's see, 4. That give us something? That gives us 24.25. We want to use whole numbers. We want to find 98 divided by 6. No? Alright, well I know that nonetheless, I know if I divide this by 2, I'm going to get 49. So that's what I'm going to do. 2 times 49 is going to give me 98. Now from here, I'm going to continue to break down each one of these numbers. I can't break down the 2. I can break down this 49 into 7 times 7. So keep the 2, rewrite 49 as 7 times 7. Now here's where I start my simplifying process. I can't break down any one of those numbers, but I do have a number twice, and because this is square root, I'm looking for a number twice. I have 7 twice. I'm going to circle it, cross it out, and to represent that, I'm just going to do 7 times. Now I don't have any. I have something left underneath the radical, so I'm going to rewrite that just like this. And now I just write my final answer without the multiplication sign. So my final answer is going to be, oops, let me cross that out, excuse me, 7 square root 2. Final answer. Okay. Alright, that was simple enough. Let's see here. Let's go to another problem. We got something with a variable in there now, a square root with a variable. Okay, so the process is still the same. Rewrite your problem and go ahead and start factoring everything out. Okay, writing it as factors, or a product of the factors, excuse me. So 9y to the 5th power, it's a square root. So I know I can break 9 down into 3 times 3, and I can break this y to the 5th power, excuse me. That's just simply, you rewrite that as y times y times y times y times y. Okay, 5 y's. Now I can come down here. Now I can start my simplifying process. Okay. So once again, because it's square root, we're going to be circling 2 like things at a time. So the first thing I notice is that I have 2 3's. I want to circle both of those, and I represent that by 3 times. And now I have y's, so I can only circle 2 at a time, because remember, this is square root. So in the index means the number that's right there is really 2. We don't really write it here because it's implied by the symbol, the radical symbol. If it's more than 2, we're going to put, like if it's 3, we'll put a cube here. If it's 4, we'll put a 4, okay? So, 2 at a time. 2 y's, cross them out, put a y. Times, I got 2 more y's together, cross them out, put another y. Now, I have a y left underneath there, so I need to rewrite that as simply the square root of y. Now, I just want to go ahead and simplify all of this. When I do that and I end up multiplying, that's going to give me 3y squared square root y. Final answer. And I'm done. We did our work. Alright. Let's see. We have a few more here. Let's take a look at another one. This one is the cube root of a negative number. Now, cube roots of negative numbers will go. That will fly, okay? So, let's see how this one's going to end up looking here. First, I'm going to start off by rewriting my problem again. Cube root of negative 54, okay? Now, what I want to go ahead and do is break that down. So, I know 54 can be broken down into 2 times 27, so that's what I'm going to write. Cube root of negative 27 times 2. Alright. Then after that, you want to go ahead and break down this 27. And negative 27 can be broken down into negative 9 times 3. And then I bring down that times 2, of course. Alright. Now I want to go ahead and break down my negative 9 into negative 3 times 3, and we'll keep this 3 in that 2. So that's what's going to happen. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Bring down the 3 and the 2. Alright. Now, what I can go ahead and do here is go ahead and start my process of circling 3 at a time, because once again this is cube root. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. Here we go. So now what I'm going to also do is go ahead and add these negative signs here to these 3's, okay? Because negative times a negative is a positive, but times another negative is a negative, so this still really makes negative 27. Now that I have 3 negative 3's, I'm going to pull those out. I'm going to circle them, pull those out, and I'm going to write that as negative 3, and then I have a 2 left under the cube root, so I'm going to write that as times the cube root of 2. Now, obviously, remember we always write our final answer without the multiplication sign, so that's going to give me negative 3 cube root 2. Final answer. Okay? Alright. Let's look at another problem. Boom. Alright, well, what if I have this? The square root of 32 divided by 81. Well, no problema. By this time, I hope that all my viewers and followers are catching on, okay? First thing we're going to do is we always rewrite our problem. Alright. Now, we can rewrite this as the square root of 32 divided by the square root of 81, so that's what I'm going to do. 32, 81, and now I'm going to go ahead and start my process of breaking down my 32 and breaking down my 81. First two things come with my mind, 8 and 4 for 32, and 9 and 9 for 81. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, now let's take a pause here. On the top, I still have to break down my 8 and my 4. Okay, but on the bottom here, I have two 9s already. I could break these down into 3 times 3 and 3 times 3, but that would just be making extra work for myself because I already have two of the same numbers. So I'm going to leave that how it is. I'm going to continue to break down my 8 and my 4 on the top. So what I'll do is I'll come over here because this bottom is going to stay the same. 8 is going to be 4 times 2. 4 is going to be 2 times 2. And on the bottom, remember, we're just going to leave that as 9 times 9. Okay. Now I want to go ahead and continue. That 4 is the last thing I want to break down into 2 times 2. And I still want to keep these 3 2's. So 2 times 2 for 4, and then the 3 2's. All of that over square root of 9 times 9. Now we can go ahead and start simplifying everything. Okay. And of course, obviously, by simplifying, we're going to do, since it's square root, we're going to be circling how many? 2 at a time. Okay. So let's get that done. 2 2's, write 1, 2 more 2's, write another 2, and we have the square root of 2 left in the inside. Okay, and I forgot to write my multiplication sign. Thank you for my followers who pointed that out. Alright, over, we have two 9's on the bottom, so let's see how that looks. We're going to have to circle those two, pull that out. So on the bottom we'll have 9. Now I want to finish simplifying this. And remember, we write everything. We're going to have to multiply the 2's and write everything without the multiplication symbols. Okay? So, come down. This is going to be 2 times 2 is 4. Square root 2 over 9. Now, in this case, I can't factor out any 4 and 9 don't have any common factors, so I would just leave this as it is. That's my final answer. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's go to the next problem. Oh yeah. Got the cube root of 72. Let's get it popping in here, folks. All right. Let's go. Rewrite. Okay. Now, when I rewrite this one, once again, we want to factor. 8 and 9 come to my mind. You can use any other factors you want. Okay. Just as long as you continue to simplify all the way through. So 8 times 9, that's 72. Okay. Come down here. We're gonna break the 8 and the 9 down. That's gonna give us 4 times 2 and 3 times 3. I can still break this this 4 down into 2 2's, and I'm gonna keep everything else the same, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. 2 times 2 gives me that 4. Now I'm going to rewrite all of that. Alright, so I'll factor completely. Now, because we're dealing with cube root, remember that we're going to be doing circling three numbers at a time. So, I notice I have 3 2's, and I'm only going to write 1. Now, these 2 3's, they don't have anything else, so they're going to have to stay under there, and we're going to have to simplify my answer. So this is going to be 2 times the cube root of 3 times 3. Now we all know that 3 times 3 is 9, and when we rewrite everything, we're not going to have any multiplication symbols inside or out. So our final answer is going to be 2 cube root 9. Final answer. Okay. All right. Let's do, I think I have one more here. Yep. And this will be the last one for today. Okay. For this lesson. And remember, this lesson was square roots and cube roots. Brought to you by who? ASKnowlin. Alright. Here's the last one. Square root of 16a to the 4th power divided by 6c to the 6th power. Okay? Same process. We have a monomial expression divided by another monomial expression. All that is being taken the square root of. So we're going to write it separately. The square root of, well, with this one we're not, because I've wrote the ones in the past separately. No, we're going to continue to do that. Let's continue to keep it that way. Let's keep it simple. Alright, now what I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and factor my 16, and I want to go ahead and expand my a to the 4th, and I want to expand my a to the 6th. My c to the 6th. 16 is going to give me 4 times 4. A to the 4th is going to be a times a times a times a. All of that over. Okay. How many c's am I going to write here on the bottom, folks? 6. And I'm going to show that that's being multiplied together. Okay. Now that I have that, I can go ahead and start my process of getting rid of things. Now, kind of just like the problem, I think about 2 problems ago, I have my 4's here, and I could break my 4's down into 2 times 2 and 2 times 2, but because it's square root and we're looking for the same number twice and I already have that here, I'm just going to keep it simple and keep those 4's. Okay. Now I want to go ahead and start my process of getting rid of everything, my pairs. I have a pair of 4's. I want to write that as 4 times. Then I have my a's here. So 2 a's, 1 a. 2 a's, 1 a. Okay? That's going to be over. Do your c's now. I have 2 c's, 1 c. 2 more c's, 1 more c. And another 2 c's, another c. Now I want to go ahead and simplify my final answer. That's going to give me 4a squared over c cubed. Final answer. Okay? Well, I hope this helped you out today with evaluating and simplifying square roots and cube roots. If you have any questions, you can get in contact with me on my email. And my email address is mknowlin @gmail.com. Okay. You can email me your responses if you think if this really helped you out. Let me know. If it sucked, let me know. I like it all. I'm continuing to get better, and I'm here for the people. I want to make sure everybody can do this math and have fun while doing it. All right. I love y'all, and peace and happiness. Adios.